Guys, I don't know how I let this slip past me, but big news. Toyota's bringing back the MR2 and the Celica, or the Celica, depending on where you live. There's been some new information coming from Best Car magazine in Japan that is pointing towards both of these cars making a comeback potentially as 2026 models. Let's get the most important thing out of the way right now.
It seems like every year there's a new leak or a new rumor about the MR2 coming back, and whether or not that's going to be a mid-engine car. Honestly, nowadays, if it does come back,
It's probably gonna be some stupid electric car.
That's bull.
The new Toyota MR2 is not going to be electric, and it's not going to be hybrid even. Like, can we just take a moment to celebrate that for a second? So nowadays it seems like automakers are doing everything they can to like repurpose different components and engines and drive lines, whatever, across their model to save money, right? It's all about saving money these days. All the bean counters are winning everything. They're taking all the fun out of everything. So you would assume if we've got two potentially new performance cars coming out of Toyota, are they just going to reuse the same 1.6 liter 3-cylinder turbo out of the GR Corolla and the GR Yaris? No. Rumor has it it's going to be a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine, which sounds pretty familiar in the MR2 and Celica world. And also they're saying it's going to make around 400 horsepower, and as somebody with a 400 horsepower MR2, I can tell you that's a lot of power for a car like that. Some more good news is that these cars will not be joint ventures with any other automakers. So unlike the Toyota GR86 that they teamed up with Subaru and the BRZ on, or the GR Supra that, let's be honest, it's a BMW underneath. Calm down, we're not really going to talk about that. These cars are going to be 100% Toyota, which again, I'm like, what is going on here? Like, is Toyota the cool company these days now? So as was the case with the previous generations of the MR2 and the Celica, they'll be sharing sort of the same engines. But what's different here is that they'll be sharing the same drive line. So historically, the Celica offered an all-wheel drive version with the GT4, but the MR2 was always just mid-engine and rear-wheel drive. What's different this time around is that both of these cars are going to be all-wheel drive. It looks like both of these cars will offer either a 6-speed manual or an 8-speed automatic transmission. And on that note, there's also rumors that the GR Corolla is getting the 8-speed automatic next year, and I talked to my buddy at Toyota about it. He said that he heard it might be a dual clutch, but I don't know if that's confirmed or if anybody else has heard that. Also, side note, he said that the GR Corollas are all catching fire right now. I guess Toyota put an oil line a little bit too close to an exhaust or something, and I'm not sure what the whole story is. And according to whoever this is according to, the MR2 is going to be weighing in at about 2,800 pounds, and the Celica will be 3,200 pounds, a little bit beefier. So in the case of the MR2, that's right exactly at what these second generation SW20s weighed in at least the turbo models. The MR Spyders, like the third generation, they got lighter, but they also got watered down and had less power and stuff. So the fact that Toyota's going with the 2-liter turbo and then that weight number, those are the exact specs of the second gen MR2. Like, is Toyota trying to forget that the third gen ever happened and just kind of like chalking that up as a loss? Nothing against you MRS owners, they are cool cars, but maybe not, the peak in terms of the MR2 heritage. Now, as far as the Celica goes, at 3,200 pounds, that's a little porkier. The outgoing 7th gen Celica was actually lighter than these MR2s. I think they were like, I want to say 2,500 or 2,600 pounds or something like that. They were really light. So at 3,200 pounds, that's a pretty big weight gain. But if we're factoring in a bigger engine and an all-wheel drive system, then a few hundred pounds more than the outgoing car is not that unheard of, I guess. So let's just recap real quick. The new MR2 is going to be a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, just like my second gen here. It's not going to be electric. It's not going to be hybrid. It's not going to be a joint venture. And it's going to be all-wheel drive. Like, this is crazy. Now, I think a question a lot of people are going to have is, why would Toyota make two kind of sports cars with the same drivetrain in them? What's the point? Isn't it kind of redundant? Well, they have done this in the past as well with these two models. The MR2 was always kind of the sportier one, and it was always mid-engine, so it was a little bit less practical. And the Celica always had more storage space, obviously being a front engine setup, and then typically it was coming in at a lower price point as well. And it looks like the rumors from this magazine are also pointing towards this new Celica being a fraction of the price of what the new MR2 is going to cost. It's also really important to note that these are all just third-party renderings as far as I know. Nothing has come directly from Toyota yet, and that includes all of these specs, all of this information, but Best Car Magazine is claiming to have like a super reliable source, and I guess apparently they got a really good track record of breaking these kind of news stories in the past. They're usually right. I'm not sure how they're getting this information before Toyota wants people to know about it, because I feel like if Toyota wanted people to know, they would just announce it themselves. We know that, especially in the recent couple of years, they love to tease people and build up hype and stuff. So I think if something's coming, we're gonna hear it from them soon. And hopefully that means that we're gonna see like some actual concept photos, maybe within the next couple of months. That's just me speculating and guessing, but Toyota, if you're up to something, just break us off a little piece. Just give us a little bit of an official story. Another question I think a lot of people are gonna have is, what does this mean for the GR Supra? I feel like the future of the Supra is a little bit uncertain, but it's not because of the chance of either of these two models replacing it, because they all had room in the lineup in previous generations, like back in the 90s, right? So they all made sense. The Supra was always more of like a grand touring car. It was bigger, it was faster, more powerful. These were more of the sportier, kind of lower powered cars. Whatever, we'll see if that changes. But the reason I think the future is a little bit uncertain for the Supra is just due to the fact that sales numbers are really going down on them. And I honestly think that people are just kind of losing interest in that car. I know it's totally unheard of for Toyota to leave a model alone and not update it enough to the point where people get sick of it or forget about it. That's definitely not something that Toyota does. Definitely. But anyways, we'll see what happens. If maybe there's a refresh coming up for the Supra, are they going to do something different with it? You know, they added the manual transmission to it to make it a little bit different from the BMW, and I think that just wasn't quite enough. They need to do something bigger to that car to really freshen it up, make people excited about it again, and maybe moving to an all Toyota lineup, if that's the plan with these new cars, and apparently the rumors of the GR86 being manufactured in a Toyota plant and kind of like not ending the partnership with Subaru, but kind of taking away a lot of the manufacturing and a lot of the, essentially the workload from Subaru and making the car a little bit more Toyota. Those are the rumors, at least. Are they going to do something similar with the Supra? Are we going to hear something Supra related coming soon as well? I don't know. It seems like maybe Toyota has heard people's complaints about these joint ventures, and the powers that be are switching things up. Maybe they're going back to an all Toyota lineup again, and how great would that be? So comment below with what you would love to see in the new MR2 or the new Celica. I'm going to be following along with this story the same way that I did with the new Tacoma and the new 4Runner when they were announced and they were released. Whenever I get kind of news updates and stuff that I think you guys are going to want to hear about, I'll share them. Probably a few days later than some of the other bigger channels that are like sleeping and crapping this kind of stuff, because I got a life and I'm working on other stuff. So stay tuned if you want to hear more about this MR2 story as it unfolds. And until then, I'm going to start making some more videos with this old girl back here. Thanks for watching, guys.